Hello, I'm live. Yay, it didn't work for a minute then, and I got worried because I imagine that lots of people are doing Facebook Lives at the moment, so I was a bit worried that the Facebook Live system might have crashed, but it hasn't. I'm here. Hello again, everybody. Just a reminder, my name's Jo, and I'm head of Aquatics for Tots, which basically, when I say that to people, they say, what do you mean? Fish? Is that something to do with fish? But no, it's not. It's to do with training all our wonderful, wonderful teachers out there teaching your lessons all over the country, all over the UK and Ireland. We have an amazing community of teachers, and obviously things have changed a lot since I spoke to you on Monday. Turtle Tots took the difficult decision, as you know, to suspend temporarily all of our classes in the best interests of public health for the next few weeks, and we're going to relook at that after the Easter holidays. So I never thought I'd be doing this as part of my job, but these are unusual times, and so we've been trying to think creatively about things that we can talk to you about. And today we're going to have a chat about I spoke on Monday about bath times and the wonderful benefits of getting into the bath with your baby. Many of you will do that already, but some people won't, and maybe some people might have tried that for the first time. Yesterday, Ange spoke to you about lovely floating and relaxation activities that you can do along with some of the beautiful songs that we sing, our Turtle Tots amazing singing voices, which I'll tell you a bit more about in a minute. So today we're going to talk about other ideas for bath time. It's not all going to be about bath time, by the way, but we're just focusing on that kind of stuff this week. And we're going to look at we've all got to make the most of what we've got around us at the moment, because our movements are restricted, and most of us now will be practicing some kind of social distancing, even if you're not in complete self-isolation. So trips out, are limited, maybe. So we've all got to just make the most of what we've got in our houses. So we're going to look at some of the everyday objects that can be actually turned into lots of fun at bath time. But before we start on that, I thought I'd just ask the question, how are people feeling? It might be really nice to start a bit of a conversation on the back of these Facebook Lives, using the comments, just to say, what you're feeling today, and maybe where you are, what day are you on, if you are in self-isolation, how many days, how's it going? What things have you found particularly helpful to help pass the time? Because time is the one thing that we've all now got lots of. Isn't it ironic? Because a couple of weeks ago, that was the thing everybody has said, oh, I've not got enough time. Part of our society is often that we don't have time for things, where all of a sudden we have loads of it. So what have you discovered? What have been the hardest things? What unexpected bonuses have you discovered? Because there will be positives that come out of this. It's a really tough situation, but we have to look for maybe the things that we things to be grateful for, and positives that can come out of this. I mean, one of the things that I've been personally working on, I guess, is this idea of sort of coming to terms with making peace with the uncertainty of the situation. I think we all want to know what's going to happen. When we want a timeline, we want to know when are our classes going to start again. Of course we do. So we don't have certainty about lots of things, but I think what I've been feeling is, one, kind of trying to come to terms with that, and two, really making the most. One of the things it's really making me grateful for is the communities that we have, and our Turtle Tots community being one of those. I've been a part of Turtle Tots since the beginning. We're 10 years old, and I have to say it's one of the most amazing communities of people that I've ever worked with. I even feel a little bit emotional talking about it, but our teachers are amazing. We've been having a bit of a laugh on our Facebook group the last couple of days, because we're trying to work out a way, as Ange told you yesterday, to sing some songs for you over the internet that you can listen and sing along to in the bath with your babies. But of course, nothing is ever simple. And we had a fairly hilarious rehearsal last night. It did not sound good, but it was fun, and it made us all laugh, and it also made us feel connected and together. So yeah, more of that, please. And I know that lots of you will have lots of different areas of community in your lives, but our Turtle Tots community is a really strong one and a really important one. So please keep talking to us, keep being a part of it. Let us know what you're up to during this time when we can't see you in the pool, because we miss you. Right then, on to my topic for today. how to make the most of, well, I'm not so much talking about getting into the bath today, though of course you can, all of these things you can do in the bath, but I'm more thinking of maybe slightly older babies, making bath time more fun, making the most of what resources that we've got, because they're limited. We can't just go out and buy everything that we need at the moment. So what have we got in our houses already? So my first suggestion, which is a really, really simple one, but actually as a parent, I didn't think of it until somebody suggested it to me. So things are simple when you know how, but they might not be if you haven't thought of it. So one of my things is just actually with the bath toys that you've already got, rotate them. So rather than having all the toys in the bath at the same time, which is what I always had to do, and what I always did, and the bath was just full of this massive load of colourful plastic stuff, which, you know, my kids love, but it was almost just a bit like detritus in the bath, and they weren't that interested in any of it because it was all there all of the time. So when someone suggested this to me, what I did was I actually stripped back most of the toys and just put in a few different ones each day, and then those items, rather than just becoming a familiar thing that's always there, are something that your child maybe hasn't seen for a few weeks, and maybe their brain has developed a bit more in the time since they saw it last, so they might play with it in a slightly different way. So yeah, so rotating your toys, maybe just having a small selection of 4 or 5 bath toys at any one time in the bath, and maybe keep those for a few days and then rotate them with another few. So that was the first thing. Secondly, me and my daughter, Seren, who is now 9, and she started off as a turtle tot, but she's now 9, and we had fun going through our house looking for all the things that we thought that maybe might be fun, and of course safe for babies to play with in the bath. So I've got a little box here, which I will get out. And honestly, I mean, I feel slightly ridiculous doing this, but hey, you know, these are unusual times. So it might seem really obvious, but a lot of things that you've got in your kitchen are actually, for you, very boring everyday objects, but for your baby or your younger toddler, these are going to be actually really fun to play with. So we've got the very simple wooden spoon. It's just a wooden spoon, but when you look at it through a baby's eyes, it can do all sorts of things. Firstly, it has lovely texture. Okay, babies will mouth and explore things with their tongues. So and then of course it can be used for drumming, making different sounds in the bath. It can be used for pouring water on your head, maybe. I tried to think of a way of demonstrating some of these things without getting myself really wet, but I can't. So we have a wooden spoon. We have a ladle, similar, but very, very different. This is metal. It feels different. It's colder. It's shiny. You can see yourself. In fact, my reflection, I don't know if you can see, but the concave or the convex curve turns your reflection upside down. Bit of science in there. Containers, you know, how many ladles does it take to fill a container with a ladle versus maybe a wooden spoon? Okay, what else have I got in here? I mean, not everyone will have the same things in their kitchen, but my daughter particularly liked this one. This is one of those sort of silicone pastry brushes. So we had fun with this, and actually this is quite a nice sensory activity with your little one in the bath. Seren was asking me to do the pastry brush over her back and the back of her neck. So yeah, we had quite a lot of fun with this one. Little silly things like CDs, pretty much defunct now. Not many people use CDs, but just looking at that in the light, it actually shows some beautiful coloured reflections, and we quite liked watching the water run off this and seeing how much water we could get to balance on it. The way the water droplets balance on the CD case was quite interesting, and then you got different colours on there as well. So you get the picture. Have a look around your house, and maybe just tonight in the bath, see if your little one would like to play with some different things other than their usual bath time toys. We tend to categorise things. These are kitchen things, these are bathroom things. Mix it up a bit. You know, what have we got to lose? Okay. Another thing I thought of was kind of ideas for sensory play in the bath. So babies obviously we all experience the world through our senses, but the sensory parts of a baby and young child's brain are still developing. So it's one of the reasons why swimming is such a wonderful activity, because it's a stimulator, you know, sensory stimulation for all the senses, and they call it a multi-sensory experience. And obviously bath time can be just the same, albeit in a smaller environment. So some of the ideas that I thought of with things that I found around my house. Firstly, if we're looking at sound, sound changes under the water, the way that sound waves travel. Any of you who've done scuba diving, you'll know this, but sound is very different underwater. So we can play around with that. And also this helps babies or young babies to still practice maybe getting their ear in the water. So we had a rattle. So we practiced listening to the rattle on the surface and then putting an ear in the water and hearing the rattle underwater and how that sounded, and maybe taking the rattle further away. So we like that one. And I had this, just a little thing that I found in a charity shop, just a little bell, and Sarah particularly liked listening to this under the water because it sounds so clear. So that was a fun one, and we did that for quite a long time. Okay, this one might be a bit out on a limb, but you know, as I said, what have we got to lose? And it won't be for everybody, okay? But we've got in our house, I hope you like this. I've gone for Turtle Tots colours. We have some little bottles. I use these for a birthday cake that I made, a rainbow layer birthday cake, and they're non-toxic, food safe, perfectly edible food colouring. So we had some good fun with these, just dripping. Now this can work in several ways depending on how your little one's feeling, but just a drip into the bath and you can get some beautiful patterns. I don't know how well you can see that. And then it takes ages for the colours to disperse. So this worked in several ways. It's still actually dripping down from the top. So one way was it made Sarah want to go really, really still in the bath and wait for the colour to disperse. So that was quite good fun. I'm going to do a green one as well. So we've got both our Turtle Tots colours. Here we are, ready? 1, 2, 3, drip. And so one way was to remain really still and wait for the colours to move themselves. And we had different bits of colour in different parts of the bath, and then the other one was to swoosh the water as fast as we could and to disperse the water as quickly as possible. So that is another suggestion that I offer you. Have a play with some safe, non-toxic food colourings. I got these for I'm quite a I like I avoid lots of kind of additives and e-numbers if possible, and so that these are like nice kind of not too chemically food colorings that we got from the internet. Okay, so that was an idea. Another one, and this was a big favourite. How am I doing on time? I don't want to go off too long. This was a really big favourite, was with touch and the temperature. Okay, so we have a sriracha bottle. So this is the sriracha chili sauce. Any squirty bottle will do. This one's good because it's got just like a tiny thing hole at the end, so not too much water comes out at once. But in a nice warm bath, and believe me, I was asked to do this, to put some really cold water into this bottle and then practice and then play around with dripping it or squirting it, depending on what she wanted, onto different parts of her body. And this is a lovely sensory activity because it's really quite a sensory kind of like, almost like it's a shock, but as long as it's something that she wanted or your child, it's a really good way to sort of practice consent-based games as well, because I would never drip or squirt anywhere onto my daughter unless she asked me to. So she would say, right, I want 3 drips on my arm, and she would get more and more brave as the game went on, and by the end we'd be pouring whole bottles over her head of cold water. Now my daughter likes cold water, your little one maybe not, but the water can just be a little bit cooler. And that was we've had a lot of fun with that. So I offer you that. Also, as an aside, these bottles, if anybody has ever tried doing pancake art, these are really good for pancake art, because you can put your pancake mixture in the sriracha bottle, put a bit of your food colouring in, or cocoa or turmeric if you don't want to use food colouring, and then you can draw patterns on the bottom of the pan and then fill it in with the normal pancake batter. And we've had some good fun with that as well. That's completely off topic, so I will be quiet. Right then, my last suggestion for you for bath time play. I was kind of thinking of science-inspired play, although really all play or a lot of play is science-inspired. Your child is working out how the world works through just sort of laws of natural movement, etc. And if anyone is interested in this kind of stuff, we train all our teachers in understanding children, how children learn, how children behave, behavioural psychology. And a wonderful woman called Alison Gopnik has done a TED talk called How Babies Think, which is available on YouTube. Anyone who's watched Babies on Netflix will have seen Alison Gopnik, but she's a developmental psychologist who's been absolutely kind of at the top of her field in improving all the ways that babies are incredible at learning. So if anyone wants to watch that, I'll post the link in the comments, let me know. But basically what children do when they play is they perform a series of experiments to work out how the world works. So one of those things was, I haven't got anything for this because it was hard to demonstrate, but just practicing what will float or sink. So maybe get some, get some different objects. Actually saying that I had some pebbles lying around. These are quite nice in terms of sensory as well, because as soon as they get wet, the colours really come out. But pebbles or wooden things, these are two things I found lying around. So just kind of having a look at how things float and how things sink and playing around with that. And my last suggestion is ice cubes. We've had lots of fun with this as well, because ice cubes, obviously, when you put them in a warm bath, they melt, and that's quite interesting to watch as a little one. And also, pushing them around in the bath. You might need to, if your little one doesn't like things chilly, you might need to top the bath up with a little bit of warmer water once the ice cubes have melted. But a few ice cubes in a big bath doesn't make a huge amount of difference. You can make the ice cubes coloured. We've done that too. And then my favourite one, and this works in or out of the bath and is brilliant for summertime play, is freeze one of your baby's or your child's toys, like a favourite toy, like a plastic toy presumably, if you've got space in your freezer, in a big block of ice. So what I did was I got an ice cream tub, one of those sort of 5-litre ice cream tubs, half filled it with water, waited for that to freeze, put a toy in, filled the rest with water, waited for that to freeze. So then you've got a massive block of ice with a toy in the middle. And we had that was hours of entertainment. Firstly, kind of it works in the bath because obviously it gradually melts in the bath, but also for chipping away with tools. We had a little scraper thing. So this might be completely off the wall for lots of you, but I would love to hear if you try any of the ideas, and also if you've got ideas that anyone can suggest that we can share with our wonderful Tots community. So I managed to talk about that for a lot longer than I expected. So I'm going to stop now. Thank you all for listening, and I hope to hear about your creative bath time ideas in the comments. Bye bye.